Hello, it's D to the B. Yes, I do apologize. This is an hour-long video, and this monologue is not helping any bit. But I just wanted to say I've been busy lately. I'm sorry I haven't been uploading a lot. There is a lot to talk about that I've not been covering. Like, I've heard She-Hulk is a complete disaster, and I'm going to talk about that one of these days. There's some other reviews I want to do, and more. I've just been busy with a lot of things, so I haven't been able to upload videos, but here we are. Just to let you know, not everything in this video is perfect, and I do apologize, but I hope you still enjoy the video, because I certainly enjoyed making it. Alright, enjoy the video. Hello everyone, it's D to the B and Full Metal Dipper here.
What's up, guys?
And today, at last, we're here to review the Kenobi show.
Finally.
I've been waiting, and I have to say, as a massive prequel fan, I love the show so much. No, they destroyed everything. They ruined Obi-Wan, they ruined the saga. Everything Star Wars was destroyed in this show.
Yeah.
The show was a huge disappointment. If you're a Obi-Wan fan like Ian McGregor's, you'll be disappointed in this show, because it completely destroys the legacy of Ian McGregor's Obi-Wan.
It's awful.
Alright, why don't we get into the first episode? So the first episode starts off with a big recap of the prequels, which I'll say, I didn't mind this. It just reminded me how Star Wars was better back in George Lucas's hands.
Right.
Anyway, after the nostalgia bait, we open up with Tatooine 10 years later after the events of Revenge of the Sith, and the Inquisitors have come to hunt down a Jedi. And these Inquisitors are the Grand Inquisitor, Fifth Brother, and Reva. And they are hunting down the specific Jedi to get intel of where more Jedi are. The Grand Inquisitor goes into like a local restaurant or something like that, and he starts interrogating the owner of the restaurant until Reva decides to throw a knife at the owner, where the Jedi stops the knife from killing him. And then the Inquisitors trap the Jedi, and Reva almost decides to kill him, even though they need the intel from this Jedi. And right away, Reva is the worst character of Star Wars ever.
Yeah.
And it's only been like a few minutes. Sorry, what? I didn't hear you.
I said it's only been a few minutes and she's already the worst.
And, of course, the Jedi gets away because of Reva's incompetence. And Grand Inquisitor says that you need to let go of this foolish obsession with Obi-Wan, or he will relieve her from duty, which he should have just done in the first place.
Yeah.
So then we could avoid this whole show.
Yeah.
Anyway, meanwhile... Sorry, what?
I said it was awful just in general.
Meanwhile, we get the transition to Obi-Wan's job, where he is like a butcher of sorts?
I think so, yeah.
Where he's cutting like this space meat, which I didn't mind this part. I can honestly buy Obi-Wan getting a job to stall some time. I can buy that. And after the shift is over, one of the workers starts complaining he didn't get paid enough. And the owner just shoves him over and say, next time you complain, I take your money. And
That was funny.
Obi-Wan starts looking at the owner and he's like, do you have something to say? And Obi-Wan just stays silent and then just goes on to the freighter, back to his home, and takes and gives the piece of meat he took from the butcher to his pet whatever species that is in Star Wars. It's some sort of camel-like thing. I don't remember.
Yeah.
After that...
It's like their camel version of a dog. So.
After that, Obi-Wan starts watching Luke like he's supposed to. Good job. For now. And then he is visited by a Jawa. I think her name's Tiki or something like that. I can't honestly remember. Now, I personally kind of liked this character.
I can't remember, but at the same time, I don't know either.
Hold on, guys. Just give me a second. Alright, I'm back with better audio quality for Mr. Full Metal Dipper.
Hopefully it's better audio quality.
All I need is a speaker. Anyway, continuing on. Tika has some things for Kenobi to take. One of them ends up being the toy that toy ship from A New Hope Luke Skywalker was holding, which, nice detail. I'll give him that. And then Kenobi mentions how he's missing some sort of piece for his base, and then Tika just grabs the piece from her bin, and Obi-Wan says, you know, if you take my parts, can you at least clean them off? And then the Jawa's like, that costs extra. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like something a Jawa would do.
Yeah.
Anyway, we then transition to Obi-Wan giving the toy ship to the Uncle Owen's farm by putting it on their doorstep. And then Obi-Wan has immediately left the house of Uncle Owen, and then he's met up by the Jedi we saw earlier. And Ben Kenobi tries shaking him off. Well, for good reason. He's got to watch Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the prequel trilogy. He was sent to Tatooine to watch Luke Skywalker. Anyway, continuing on. The new Jedi is like, I need your help to stop the Inquisitors. And he's like, he has nowhere else to go. Where Obi-Wan says, if you want to survive, bury your lightsaber somewhere far away and just continue on with your life. Now, originally I didn't have a problem with this, but now listening to some videos and now thinking about it, they really did Jakeify Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like Jake Skywalker.
Yeah.
This is one of the negatives about the episode itself. Is what they do to Obi-Wan, but trust me, it gets worse. This is the only good episode in the show. Or at least okay.
Episode 1 was the only decent one.
Yeah, pretty much.
The series.
Anyway, continuing on, then we transition to Alderaan, where we get to see a young Princess Leia, and the Organa family has to go to a party, but of course, Leia goes running off into the woods and just watches some spaceships until the mother finds her. And then they go to the dinner party. Leia has a little fight a bit with her cousin, and then she runs off in the woods where she is immediately captured, and I have to say, this chase scene is awful. Like, whoever does the chase scenes, like, guides them, should honestly be fired.
Yeah.
Because he obviously sucks at his job. Like,
Yeah,
there's...
if I was in charge of that, I would fire him right on the spot.
Like, literally, one of the bandits literally runs into a tree and doesn't go under it.
He just like, "Urgh," after he hits the tree. That's pretty stupid. Like, seriously, whoever made that chase scene needs to be fired. From the actual... What?
I said, like, immediately. He's getting fired.
But that guy is probably not the worst thing about the show. I'll get into that in episode 3. Anyway, we continue on after Leia gets captured. Obi-Wan is continuing with his normal life, and he gets no wait, that's not what happened. Well, while that's happening, Obi-Wan does his job, feeds his pet the meat he stole, basically the same thing, but the difference is Uncle Owen throws the toy ship that Obi-Wan gave him, and he's like, I want you to stay away from us. Which makes sense, because Obi-Wan did fail Anakin Skywalker, which it does make sense. I'll give him that. Good job, Disney. You did one good thing.
Yes.
And after Obi-Wan and Uncle Owen have their little chat, the Inquisitors, fifth brother, and Reva, ew. I'm just going to do that every video, just to tick off the 4 Reva fans. Anyway, the Inquisitors are looking for the Jedi that they found last time, and Reva lost. And in the process, Reva says if you don't comply, they'll cut off your hand, which she actually does. Wow, dismemberment in Disney's Star Wars? It's a shock. Just give us a second, guys. We're having a bit of issue. Oh, there we go. But yeah, weren't you shocked by when Reva cut off that lady's hand?
Yeah.
Like, we've had like 5 to 6 years without dismemberment in Star Wars, and now we finally get it. What took them so long?
Right. The last time we saw any dismemberment was, and I can't remember which one of the movies it was, but when Darth Vader cut off Luke's hand.
Pretty much all of them. Like, it was in Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones.
Anakin got his legs freaking amputated by,
Yeah, we had 4 Star Wars movies with dismemberment. What the heck happened?
Right. What happened to the dismemberment, Disney?
Anyway, continuing on, the fifth brother immediately stops her from committing more atrocities like killing Uncle Owen. And then fifth brother grabs her and shoves her to a wall to set her in her place. Thank you, fifth brother. Somebody besides Grand Inquisitor needed to do it.
Yeah.
And she's like that these people are underneath us. And the fifth brother's like, we looked for Kenobi like 10 years ago and we still can't find him. And she says the annoying thing, maybe we're not looking in the right place. I hate Reva.
Yeah.
Anyway, continuing on, Obi-Wan says thank you for not ratting him out to the Inquisitors. And Uncle Owen's like, I didn't do it because of you. And then Obi-Wan returns back to his hut, where he immediately gets a message from Bail Organa. And Bail Organa wants Obi-Wan to rescue Leia from the pirates that stole her. And he's like, my mission is to watch over the boy. Which, good job, Obi-Wan, standing up for yourself. Watching over Leia was Bail Organa's job. You're supposed to watch Luke. Good job. And also, why Obi-Wan? He's supposed to be watching over Luke. According to what I've heard about the Ahsoka novel, at this point in time, Bail Organa would have connections to Volcrum, a.k.a. Ahsoka. This would have been a good plotline for the Ahsoka series.
Yeah.
But anyway, Obi-Wan continues with his normal life again. This is the 3rd time we've seen his daily routine. This should have really been a movie and not a TV show. Anyway, Bail Organa then goes into Obi-Wan's cave and meets up with him, and he's like, you need to save Leia. You're the only person I can trust. But what about the Alderaan guards? What about them? It's their job to literally protect the royalty. But anyway, Obi-Wan denies him again. Until Obi-Wan goes walking in the streets and notices the Jedi that he was talking to later in the episode, well, early in the episode, is dead. And Obi-Wan then decides to go save Leia from imminent doom. And that is the end of the first episode. As I said, it's not the worst thing I've watched, but
I've definitely seen better things.
Yeah, it's definitely better in other Star Wars projects like Mandalorian, personally, and Bad Batch.
Yeah. Oh, Bad Batch was awful.
Really? I liked Bad Batch.
Well, it was awful in the sense that, like, there was no dismemberment.
Well, yeah. I will say that part did suck.
Like, honestly, that's the only thing that made it so awful.
Personally, I think one thing that sucked about the show was Omega.
Yeah. Omega was garbage.
But besides those two things, it's not a bad show.
Yeah.
You have to give it that.
Yeah, it's decent, but, like, those two things make it intolerable for me to watch. I can't stand it.
Makes sense. Anyway, let's get on to...
Other people would say that they loved it. Most people would say that they hated it.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is right now. Yeah, it was a decent show. Yeah, it was definitely a decent show. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Those two instances just made it intolerable for me to watch. I can't stand it.
I'm most likely going to see Bad Batch Season 2 to end off Star Wars.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get on to Episode 2, where things get worse. You thought Episode 1 was possibly bad?
Oh, what's on you?
You thought Episode 1 was bad? Oh, no. It gets worse.
It gets worse.
Anyway, let's get into Episode 2. So Episode 2 opens up with the recap of the last episode. Skip. Then Obi-Wan lands on this new planet, which... I don't hate this look. I actually kind of like the look of the planet. A YouTuber said that it had like a cyberpunk feel to it. Personally, I've never played Cyberpunk, but it's a pretty cool planet.
Yeah.
Anyway, Obi-Wan starts looking for Leia, and then he bumps into this old clone trooper from the Clone Wars, asking for credits, and we get Tamara Morrison as the clones. Thank goodness, thank you, because Tamara Morrison is a great actor.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan decides to give the clone a coin or something like that, or credit, so he can do that. There is a bit of a plot hole with this, because the clone trooper would obviously recognize Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, he was a general. There's that. And also, why would Obi-Wan want to help the clone trooper if the clone troopers were the reason all of his fellow Jedi are dead? I don't know, just sympathy, I don't know. I just had to point that out. Anyway, then we meet up with this little girl that is selling death sticks. Ha, good reference, death sticks.
Right.
And this, I found out recently, the little girl that's selling death sticks in this episode is actually Ian McGregor's daughter in real life. No, I'm not kidding.
Yeah, when I found that out, I was just like, wow.
I know. Father and daughter working side by side. It's very shocking.
Yeah. You don't see a whole lot of that anymore nowadays.
No, not really. Anyway, continuing on, then Obi-Wan hears about this Jedi that is in the area, and this so-called Jedi is helping people get off world, but it turns out he's a scam artist using magnets. And I have to say, I hate this guy. I really wanted him to die multiple times.
Yeah.
He's basically the Mo of Star Wars.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Mo is, watch my Lightyear review. Anyway, continuing on, Obi-Wan goes looking for Leia. Eventually, Obi-Wan stumbles into the area. He finds Leia, and he is immediately targeted by the people who kidnapped her. Eventually, Obi-Wan kicks their butts, saves Leia from imminent doom. But, of course, Leia is trying to run away because she thinks she can't trust him. And they go on with that, and then the Inquisitors find out that Reva put a bounty on Obi-Wan Kenobi, and eventually when the Grand Inquisitor and Reva have Obi-Wan cornered, we get one of the stupidest things for a while, and as Grand Inquisitor is going to grab Obi-Wan, Reva stabs him in the stomach. Now, originally when I saw this clip before seeing the episode, I was pissed off.
Yeah.
Because if you've seen Rebels, he's not supposed to die until the end of season 1.
Yeah.
They do fix this after all, and I did do some more research. Apparently his species has 2 stomachs, which is the reason he's alive in the later episode.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know this until I found out. But of course, we had some Disney shills who did try defending this before I found out this detail. Unnamed, I'm not naming any of them. This guy. Anyway, continuing on. After Kenobi and Leia escape, Reva is just shouting like, "You can't escape, Obi-Wan! We'll find you!" Oh yeah, and Obi-Wan finds out at this point in time that Anakin Skywalker is alive and he is Darth Vader. Now, this is kind of stupid that he finds out now, because in Legends, from what I've heard about Star Wars Legends, some point when Obi-Wan is on Tatooine, he finds out that Darth Vader's alive by a news report. I figured he would put 1 and 1 together, if they're hearing, like, tales of Vader. Like, there is no way in the world Tatooine wouldn't hear about Darth Vader or be talking about him.
Yeah, there's no way they wouldn't.
Anyway, if you thought that was frustrating, it gets even more worse. I'm not ready. But let's continue on because we need to. So episode 3 opens up with a new beautiful planet. Well, not really beautiful. A planet that used to be beautiful but was purged by the Empire. And Leia and Obi-Wan meet up with this farmer guy who is in complete support with the Empire. As we see an Imperial flag on the back of his vehicle. I don't remember what it's called. And at some point, stormtroopers pick up these. The vehicle picks up stormtroopers, and the stormtroopers, Obi-Wan and Leia and the farmer, start discussing things. And once they get to the Imperial fence, the farmer rats him out to other stormtroopers, and there's this probe droid that has to detect if these people look familiar, which the probe droid detects that's Obi-Wan Kenobi. He has a blaster from the previous episodes. He starts shooting the probe droid and stormtroopers, and after he defeats all the Imperials, which involves an Imperial falling off of the fence, well, the high station that the fence is connected to, and he gets cut in half. Like, wow, Disney is really going all out with this.
Talk about brutality.
Where have you been all my life?
Right?
It's too bad it's in a terrible show.
Yeah.
Anyway, continuing on, then Obi-Wan decides to shoot the laser fence, even though he could have walked around it. Like, there's not some extra walls to, where you can't walk around. No, it's just that one fence, and then there's a big open space between the two mountains. He could have literally walked around it. Why'd you need to shoot it? And seriously, no, so uncivilized joke? Really? That's one of Ian McGregor's best lines. So uncivilized. Anyway, continuing on, more stormtroopers show up, and an Imperial officer, is there with them. But then the Imperial officer, kills all the stormtroopers, and it turns out that this is the contact they were supposed to meet up with. Oh yeah, that's right. In the last episode, annoying fake Jedi set them up with a contact to meet him up with the planet. I forgot to mention that detail. Maybe it shows how much I hate that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, continuing on, then she hides in a... Well, she hides them in a bunker. And, of course, we get to meet a character I actually didn't hate, even though he barely did anything, and that's the big yellow droid. For some reason, he was one of my favorites out of this show. And he didn't even talk. He just looked awesome. He is slow, but, some of us are.
Yeah.
Anyway, continuing on, then we open up later in the night. Well, actually, the film directors forgot it was day, and it just transitions to night. And Vader and the fifth brother, Reva, and the fourth sister, which is another character I liked, even though she barely did a thing. Why am I liking the characters that barely did a thing more than I do the characters that are doing a thing?
Because the ones that are doing a thing, they suck.
It's all the characters who are the main focus of the characters that suck, and then the rest of them that don't do anything are cool.
Yeah.
How does that work? Anyway, continuing on, the Imperial lady says, no, I remember what happened. The Imperial lady and Leia try escaping, while Obi-Wan decides to go and face Vader. And as Vader finds Obi-Wan, this is where it happens. The big epic battle between good versus evil. Nah, I'm just kidding. Obi-Wan starts running away first. This was really bad. What? I didn't hear you.
I think he just starts running a little baby. He starts running like the little baby he is.
Eventually, somehow, Vader catches up with him. And then we get the coolest fights in Disney Star. No, I'm just kidding. The fight is awful. The camera's shaky. The choreography is terrible. It was such a cringy fight to watch. It was the worst fight in Star Wars history.
Yeah.
I didn't think, wow, this is so interesting. I thought, wow, this looks awful. And then at some point, Vader tries to set Obi-Wan on fire, which makes sense. I guess to get him back for Mustafar. And then somehow, you're telling me that being thrown in fire, Obi-Wan just gets his arm burnt and not his hair? How does that make any sense?
It doesn't.
I remember seeing this fight with a friend of mine before I actually watched the episodes, because at the time I only saw episode 1, and I'm like, what the heck? This fight is so stupid. And then the fake Imperial lady saves Obi-Wan from Vader, and the droid saves him, and then Vader decides to walk away. No, that's not Darth Vader. If he got the chance to kill Obi-Wan for what he did to him on Mustafar, Vader would probably jump over that fire, cut that droid in half, and then kill Obi-Wan. There is no way that would have happened. I think Vader would fight thousands of rebel fighters just to kill Obi-Wan.
That wouldn't surprise me.
That sounds like something Vader would do.
Yeah, and the dude is so freaking evil.
He will do anything to get Obi-Wan, and then you're just telling me, there's fire, he has to leave. So freaking stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, then Leia gets caught by Reva. Imperial lady tries helping Obi-Wan. And that's how the episode ends. Oh my gosh, this episode is so awful.
Yeah.
It is the worst episode. Nah, I'm just kidding. It gets worse. It's sad how I keep repeating it gets worse, but it really does.
Yeah.
Anyway, continuing on with episode 4. Episode 4 opens up with Imperial Lady putting Obi-Wan into a Bacta tank. Wow. First, we had a whole show in Book of Boba Fett that pretty much used the Bacta tank all the time to one episode. Personally, I prefer the one episode over the whole series. And I still find it ridiculous how Obi-Wan just got his arm burnt. So stupid. How stupid are you people?
Apparently very.
And at the same time, Anakin is also in the Bacta tank. And they're just sensing each other. After Obi-Wan heals, he gets a new robe. And we get to meet the early version of the Rebels. And they are against the idea of helping Obi-Wan get Leia back from the... what is it? From the Inquisitors. And then Obi-Wan and the Imperial Lady decide to go on their own to save Leia, where we return to one of the actually cool places in Disney canon, Grand Intorius, which is the Inquisitors' home base. Now, I personally like this place in Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes.
I just liked the tower, and Lego, hear me out. Please make this into a Lego set. Even if you have to connect it to that awful Obi-Wan Kenobi show, just release a Lego set off of it. It would go perfectly with my Darth Vader castle. Anyway, continuing on, Obi-Wan sneaks on the base, and the fake Imperial Lady has to make sure he makes it through. And they have trouble, but Imperial Lady deals with it right away. I didn't like her that much. She's kind of forgettable.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan sneaks around. There was almost a point where Obi-Wan got caught, but Obi-Wan used the Force to make a sound so the stormtroopers walk away. Hey, the actually good, smart thing they did. Oh wait, let's talk about Obi-Wan's ability to the Force real quick before we continue on. Apparently, for some stupid reason, they decided to cut Obi-Wan away from the Force. Like, this isn't a bad concept, because Jedi Fallen Order did the exact same thing with their character Cal Kestis. Which made sense, because Cal Kestis really didn't have a purpose. Obi-Wan did. He was supposed to train Luke. But this whole show is stupid, but let's continue on. Reva is trying to interrogate Leia, but she is unsuccessful, which doesn't seem realistic, especially since she's supposed to be 10, I'm pretty sure, or 8. And of course, Reva takes Leia's droid at some point because she tries using the droid to attack Reva. Then eventually, Obi-Wan, after Reva leaves, rescues Leia, which in the moment that she saves Leia and it goes black, yeah, this choreography sucks too, and it's in the dark. What the heck is wrong with this? Oh yeah, I gotta mention something. I forgot something in the first episode. Let's talk about the Order 66 scene. It's kinda bad. Like, literally, I'm probably gonna edit this further earlier into the video, but it's so awful. Like, when the Jedi cuts the stormtroopers, not a single scar except one of them. I really hate this show. I really do.
Yeah.
And anyway, continuing on. And before the Obi-Wan saves Leia, we do get this interesting part where we find out that all the Jedi the Inquisitors hunt down, they put into like these containers as like trophies, which was actually kind of interesting. We did get a cameo Jedi from the Clone Wars, which was that old Jedi with the cane lightsaber. I forget his name.
I can't remember off the top of my head either.
But some reason I actually kind of liked him.
Yeah.
And anyway, continuing on. After Obi-Wan saves Leia, Obi-Wan takes Leia and the Imperial suit, and Leia decides to be under the suit, unlike maybe, I don't know, hiding her in a droid disguise. And then Reva catches on. They almost don't escape until early rebels save them. And then, after they're getting close to escape, one of the rebels died and was so sad. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't care.
Yeah.
Once that guy died,
honestly.
Like when Reva threw the explosive at that guy's ship, I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And they portray it's like it's supposed to be a sad moment, but I really couldn't care less.
Same.
Anyway, after they escape, we get one of the worst scenes in the episode in history. Vader charges in and tells Reva, "You were warned that if you failed, you would die." And then she's like, "I put a tracker on the ship," which, when did you have the chance to do this? Especially how we find out the tracker is there. And then Vader decides to spare her. Now, I mentioned this in my Reva video that I uploaded not too long ago. And Vader is not the type to spare someone for multiple failures.
Yeah.
He really isn't. And then you just spare Reva because she's a woman? Really? That's pretty much the only reason Vader would spare Reva. I hate Disney stars. I really do.
Yeah.
Anyway, then we find out that the tracker to the rebels was implanted into Leia's droid. Which, seriously, when would she have had time for this?
I have no idea.
Anyway, let's continue on with awful episode 5. Episode 5 opens up with them returning back to base. And the rebels beginning to evacuate. Well, they're more transporting people who need help to get to other areas to run away from the Empire. Which, the droid which has been turned evil cuts the power, and then the Empire finds them, and Reva goes down there to deal with it, where we get the most cringiest things ever, where she is granted as the Grand Inquisitor. Blech. Because that obviously belonged to the real Grand Inquisitor. And even if he died, couldn't you have picked somebody else? Literally, you have tons of Inquisitors you could have picked. I know Second Sister is dead, but still, somebody.
Shit, if I was in that show, they could have taken me to be the new Grand Inquisitor.
No, Vader. You need to put me as the Grand Inquisitor. I won't fail you.
Or put both of us as the Grand Inquisitor.
No, yeah, that's awesome. Grand Inquisitor D the Bee and Full Metal Dipper.
Yeah.
Reva, get out of the way. Anyway, continuing on. Reva then is at the front gate to try to get Obi-Wan and kill all the early rebels.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan says he'll try stalling while they escape. And Reva... We find out why Reva is mad at Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's because he didn't make blueberry muffins. No, I'm just kidding. That's a reference to a video talking about Kenobi. It is too funny of a clip. I'll put the video where I got that joke in the description. It comes from a guy, his name's Anomaly Inc, and he's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny.
And he's a prequel defender, so respect.
I'm not subscribed yet. Just because I'm too lazy to subscribe to him, but I've seen his videos. Including that one.
Anyway, continuing on. Yeah, it was.
For Kenobi, but it's going to be amusing when they reveal it.
It's going to be something dumb like, oh, when we were at the Jedi Temple, you weren't there to save us, so
You forgot to lock the door, Kenobi.
Yeah. You left the stove on in the Jedi Temple before you left for Utapau. You know how many children got mildly unwell because they breathed in toxic fumes?
Yeah. You didn't reset the security protocols. Something like that. It's gonna be stupid.
You didn't leave the weekly muffins in the break room.
You took the lost escape ship.
It was your day for muffins, Kenobi. You forgot. She hates him over muffins.
God, I'm super hyped to hear what the reason actually is now.
Anyway, continuing.
Just link his channel in the description.
Yes, that's what I'm gonna do because he deserves it.
Yeah.
Anyway, continuing on, the real reason we discover why Reva is mad at Obi-Wan is because it turns out she was one of the younglings in the Jedi Temple. And she's like, you could have saved us. He was your Padawan. There's also something you need to know, Reva. He couldn't do that because he was busy fighting General Grievous. And also finishing the Separatist forces on that planet. No Jedi expected Order 66 to happen. And then Obi-Wan tries reasoning with her, and it turns out Reva became an Inquisitor so she can get close to Vader and then kill him. Yeah.
Good luck on him.
Yeah, good luck. Obi-Wan somehow tells her that they could work together to defeat Vader. Anyway, Obi-Wan escapes. Fake Imperial lady dies, which I didn't care. The big yellow droid died. I cared a bit because I liked him more than the fake Imperial lady.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't do a thing. He's just another big guy. I like him. Anyway, continuing on. Vader then enters the base and he thinks and as he's trying to grab the ship from escaping, I have to say, this CGI ship looks awful.
Yeah.
Like,
I've seen CGI ships and it's garbage.
Like, when I first saw this episode, I'm like, what the heck is that? What kind of terrible animation is that?
What are those?
Like, that is some terrible CGI. And
every time I see a CGI,
sorry, what?
I'm like, what are those?
Like, this is the worst CGI I've seen in my life. People think this special edition is bad? No. This is bad. It turns out the ship was a fake, and they're in the other ship and trick him. Now, two problems with this. One, how would this work if there's no one piloting it? That's my first question. And second, what's stopping Vader from pulling down the second ship? If this was theoretically possible.
I don't think anything's stopping him. I just think he's choosing not to.
I guess Vader's just like, I'm just done with this crap. I need to go home and go to bed.
He's like, I'm done. I'm leaving.
And then Reva tries betraying Vader, which does not go well. Thank goodness. And Reva and Vader do this fight. And it ends up with Reva getting stabbed. And we find out that Reva was stabbed the first time in the Imperial... No, not the Imperial. The temple. Which, how would she survive getting stabbed by a lightsaber? Twice? Like, this is theoretically impossible.
I have no idea.
Anyway, then we get this not too bad line from Vader where he's like, "Do you think I did not see this coming?" And then it turns out the Grand Inquisitor, the real one, is still alive. Okay, so they kept up with one canon thing in Star Wars. Good job. Even though the show is a giant retcon.
Yeah.
Anyway, continuing on, Grand Inquisitor is like, you've served your purpose. Your ignorance was very useful, and now it's intolerable, if I said that word right. And Vader and him leave her to die. Which, of course, somehow she manages to live, and she finds out about Luke frickin' Skywalker. Oh my gosh, I'm so done with this show, and we only have one episode left. Can we be done now? No. Darn it. Let's continue with the last episode. The episode immediately opens up with Reva on Tatooine. What the heck? You were on that planet where the rebels were hiding. Does the Force involve teleportation? what the heck? And then she somehow is all better after getting stabbed with a lightsaber?
I can't even with her.
What is this show? And Reva is looking for Uncle Owen, assuming that that is where the Jedi is. And we transition to Obi-Wan and the rebels fighting, trying to escape from Vader. And Obi-Wan decides to split off from Leia and trusts her with fake Jedi. Oh yeah, fake Jedi is still alive. I forgot to mention that. And Obi-Wan goes to the escape ship, and Vader decides to split off to fight Obi-Wan, which I guess that's in character for him. He will do anything to get Obi-Wan. And Vader follows Obi-Wan. They end up on a planet. This not too bad looking planet. I'll say that. When I did try watching this on my iPad, it was a bit dark, where I barely could see what was going on. But once I got better quality, I'm like, this fight isn't bad, but the camera's still shaky. Like, if you had to compare Episode 3's fight and Episode 6's fight in the Kenobi series, the finale fight is definitely a bit better than it was in the third episode. They fight for a while. Obi-Wan cuts Vader's mask, and Obi-Wan is like, Anakin. Vader's like, Anakin's gone. I'm all that remains. And Obi-Wan's like, I'm sorry, Anakin, for all of this. Which, as much as the show is terrible, I like how Ian McGregor still tried to make this very emotional.
Yeah.
The only good actors in this show are the ones from the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Everyone else sucked. Literally everyone.
Yeah.
And then we get this not too bad line, which I will admit, I do repeat this line a lot because it's so well delivered by Hayden Christensen. You did not kill Anakin Skywalker. I did. The same way I intend to destroy you. And then Obi-Wan says that my friend is truly dead. And leaves Vader all alone. Which, I know it's supposed to keep up with the proper Star Wars canon, but if Obi-Wan's already there, he might as well just kill Anakin at this point. He has doomed the galaxy for 9 more years. Anyway, Obi-Wan then senses that Luke is in trouble. He flies to Tatooine in like 10 seconds. How do you get there that fast? I'm just gonna assume the planet was very close. That's the only way to justify this show.
Yeah, that would be my guess, but who knows?
Anyway, they meet up with Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, which I forgot to mention. Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru decide they're gonna fight off Reva, which does not go well. They didn't die, but it still didn't go well. And once Reva had the chance to kill Luke, she couldn't because Luke just reminded too much of herself. Which, if you wanted to avenge your Padawans, why do you want to kill the son of Anakin Skywalker? This character makes no sense. Oh, I'm just done. Thank goodness we're almost done. Because I'm already fed up with the show.
Yes. I don't blame you.
And thank goodness our next reviews are positive.
Yeah.
Anyway, continuing on where I was, Reva gives Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru Luke Skywalker, and she's like, I couldn't do it. He reminded me too much of himself. And then Reva decides to become a Jedi again. And then she goes off into the wilderness. Even though, technically, she shouldn't get off that easy, since she did kill a bunch of people. And also, she knows the location of Luke Skywalker. If Vader ends up capturing Reva again, he'll find out the location of Luke Skywalker, his son. Oh my goodness, I'm just so done. Anyway, the series ends off with Obi-Wan just checking on Luke and Uncle Owen, and Obi-Wan says he's done watching over Luke, and for now it's your job. And then Uncle Owen asks Obi-Wan, do you want to meet Luke? And Obi-Wan agrees, and then we get the iconic line, hello there. What took so long? If Disney's all about references, what took them so long to use hello there?
Yeah.
And then the show ends with Obi-Wan leaving the cave he was living in and going to move into the house he was in A New Hope, where then he meets up with the mad legend himself, Qui-Gon Jinn. Now, this was a surprising cameo.
Yeah.
And Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan begin their training to do the Force Ghost thing, and that's the end. Oh, wait, and we get an Emperor cameo. Also surprising. All the cameos they're getting in, very surprising.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of the show. Thank goodness.
Yes.
Now I am free from waiting this long. This was an awful show. If you're an Ian McGregor fan, you will be disappointed in this show.
Yeah, you will hate this show if you're a fan of his.
And, of course, they tried using racism as the excuse of criticism of Obi-Wan, even though that's simply not true. Because in Star Wars, we like Mace Windu and Lando. Because they were good characters. Especially Mace Windu. And, of course, Ian McGregor bought to this narrative too. Here's the clip. Insert clip here. But yeah, this show is not worth your time.
It's really not.
And honestly, besides Bad Batch Season 2, I'm done with Star Wars. I'm really done.
And if anybody from Disney ends up watching this, which I highly doubt, but if anyone from Disney was watching this, do a better job of making your shows.
Yeah, fire your choreography people. Fire Kathleen Kennedy. Fire all the people who has made Star Wars garbage all over these years.
And just hire me and him. Just hire the two of us instead.
Literally pick somebody who isn't Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah.
Like Jon Favreau.
Picking someone random, just pick the two of us. Because we'll make the shows a whole lot better.
And we'll bring back the EU.
Yeah.
The old one.
Yeah.
Like, as a big prequel fan, I've just broken because it's just such a bad show. It ruined the entire it ruined the entire saga. Because Obi-Wan was one of the most important things about the saga. And even Obi-Wan couldn't get away from getting ruined. It's depressing at the point Star Wars is right now. I'm honestly done with Star Wars. After Bad Batch Season 2, I'm officially done. I will not watch Andor. I will unfortunately not watch Ahsoka, even though I was excited. I'm just straight done with this series.
The only thing from Star Wars I'll ever watch again is the movies.
Yeah. For me, it's the movies and some of the shows. That's it.
Yeah. Some of the shows were decent.
And the old video games and Jedi Fallen Order 1 and maybe 2. That's it. I'm done. I'm going to go with the older Star Wars. And also, if you want to see a Kenobi series, even though I have not a Kenobi story, read the old EU book instead.
Yeah.
Because I have heard that is better, and I am going to eventually read that book. Because I want a better Kenobi story. I got ripped off with Kenobi. Anyway, what do I have to rate this show? For me, it's a 0 out of 10. Not even the first episode was good enough for me to give it at least a 1. It's a bad show. Avoid it like the plague.
Yeah.
What would you have to rate it, Full Metal Dipper?
I'd say a 0.5 out of 10. It's like, the first episode, some scenes were decent in the first episode, but overall it's just awful.
And it sucks because there are some good moments in this show. Like, when, like, a big portion of the first episode, the scene where, Obi-Wan says that that Leia's mom passed away and we missed her very much. That was a very sad moment.
Yes.
And also the intriguing of Kenobi possibly having a brother. That was also intriguing. But it's not really worth your time. Just skip it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's D to B, pretty much. And also, sorry L to the C, we had to destroy your favorite character, Riva. Anyway, have a nice day, everyone. And of course, we're joking. Bye.